Hello, friends. We are here to review the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac. I thought this episode was really good. I watched it twice tonight. Like, when I was first watching it, I just was kind of like getting my bearings and I was just kind of like peeking over at it and I'm like, okay, whatever. I think it's because they needed to like catch my interest since the first episode wasn't that like super exciting to me. But I think they've got it. So at the top of the episode, the big thing I guess that we could have anticipated is this meeting between Giselle and Wendy, and I am anticipating it because obviously we want some context as to how Giselle and Wendy ended up being cool again. So great, need to see it. Let's go. I'm again coming into, like I said in the last review, coming into this season trying to be fresh and just see what happens. I'm open, I'm listening. And I did like that Giselle broached the conversation by saying, she was open and she wanted to hear basically how Wendy felt about the things. What was interesting to me was her saying, basically saying when Wendy is good, she's good or whatever, her mood, but like when she's upset, she can be very like condescending or whatever. And I'm already immediately just like, girl, what are you talking about? But like, as I'm saying it, Wendy is saying it. So I'm like, great, I'm glad we're on the same plane. And it's exactly what I was saying. Like, you can't police the way that she reacts. Like, I just feel like I'm glad they're having a conversation because it needs to be had and we need to nip it in the bud. But it's clear that Giselle has not grasped her bearings or like taken accountability for what role she played in the Wendy thing because I don't think she really understands. She's lacking a lot of what self-awareness there. So, I think it's best that they do just move forward, and I'm glad that Wendy was able to do that and just say, hey, I hear you, fine, because that can be true. But also, girl, you were weird with me, so I was just reacting, I was just responding. So I'm glad we got that out. And I'm glad that Wendy, aside from that, not moving backwards, if you really pay attention to the conversation, she just says, well, I don't like how you can isolate people, essentially, which is a forward conversation, I guess, because it's not something they ever really talked about, but it is something that was highlighted a lot last season or maybe even a couple seasons where, Giselle's not rocking with somebody, she kind of like ices them down. The group will attempt to do an ice out type of thing. It's a bigger conversation than this, but it's nice that Wendy was able to address it. And yeah, I mean, Giselle's answer was just like, well, if I don't like somebody, I'm not going to talk to them. And that's real. To me, it wasn't like forward moving or like accountability type level thing still. But I mean, I guess in this conversation, we're not looking for them to be agreeable, I guess, and see each other's side necessarily. I think they're having a conversation of like, that's how you feel, let's respect it and let's move on. So I'll take that. At first I was skeptical. Like I said, I watched it twice, but like in watching it again, I'm like, okay, it was a very grown up conversation. I do think they were both being genuine. And I don't care for Giselle, but I do have to say, like, when they keyed towards the end about Mia, that was fun to watch. So look, I really, really like Stacey's dynamic is really all I can say. I mean, she definitely gave us a lot to learn about her in this scene, which I thought was fun. And then we're also watching her with her kid. But, she's, getting a divorce and she's from Detroit and it's just all these things. But it is interesting to hear, that, and I think it was pretty tea, that, she lives in the house and she also has her apartment. And basically, when he's home, she ain't there. And when she home, he ain't there. Great. But, all of that being said, her child doesn't know about the divorce. I mean, I understand that. I don't fault her for that. But I feel like kids, not that she didn't allude to her kid not knowing anything. She just said she didn't tell him about the divorce. So I'm sure that her daughter has noticed something, and I'm sure she knows something. But I guess maybe she just didn't know the divorce thing. So I guess I'm interested to see how that plays out, and if that's going to be like a part of her story this season, her telling her daughter. I did always also think it was interesting that both she and her husband are seeing other people. So it seems like maybe they're just trying to get up out of there. So that's an interesting storyline to me, I guess. I thought she looked gorgeous in that pink confessional as well. And the hair, I was living for it. So here's Kiana. And I like that we got an explanation as to why she wasn't at the event, because I was wondering, and I brought it up, like why she wasn't at the opening event, because that was weird. But come to find out she wasn't invited by Giselle. I didn't think there was any tea there, and I don't, forward thinking about what's happening later in the episode, I don't think that Karen was trying to make it a tea, but at least we got that understanding. There's no like weirdness in a production standpoint now. I still think it's interesting. I think I said this for the reunion, like not that it's a bad thing or anything. It's just like it's interesting to hear that that whole exchange with Karen meant so much to Kiana after the GNA event and the thing that happened with her. So I mean, so it's even more interesting to learn that that's what helped them get close. But I think that's cool. Like it's cool that Kiana came on last season through other people, and she was able to actually form a genuine relationship with somebody in the cast. Like that's what's supposed to happen. So that's cool. First confessional, so freaking cute. Like, but that blonde wig, absolutely not. Again, watch it twice. First, go over conversation about her man. I wasn't really in tune with. I was hearing the key points that they were living together, and maybe engagement is on the horizon. And I'm like, okay, y'all know I'm not too big on the relationship stories. But when I watched it again, it was really really fun to like see her energy and hear her talk about him. I'm excited to meet him, which is weird. Like the way that she described him, and they've shown him in the show so far. I'm like, oh, it'd be really nice to see their dynamics together. So I'm excited to see that. As far as the marriage thing, I wonder where that's gonna go. But also, we've got the story that she had previously lived with her late fiance, so obviously they passed. And having lost that person, it's hard for her to get. It's been hard for her to get back to that place again. Like I guess in a relationship. So I think that makes sense. I don't feel any type of way about her not being married to the guy and moving in with him necessarily. Not my tea, but I don't. I mean, I don't. It doesn't seem like it'll be a problem. Don't live for Ashley, but I do think that the scene with her and Stacey was cool because they were having some pretty interesting conversation, some stuff that we haven't really talked about on the show. I thought it was cool that they related on not like a surface level. Obviously, it had to do with like divorce, but it was more specifically about the fact that they're like going through the divorce. Well, Ashley is going through a divorce, and they're still living with their partners, and how that's kind of still like a relationship. So that's a humanizing moment for Ashley that I like to see, and I think it easily comes out talking to Stacey because Stacey just seems like a human. Like she's very like she feels very grounding. So it's nice to hear she kind of feels like somebody you have to have an adult conversation with. She has so much like I don't know, like when you're like listening to what she talks about, it's just like so it's just interesting. So it's fun to see her have that conversation with Ashley, somebody we're not typically used to getting a lot of real moments from. She doesn't have a lot of substantive conversations on the show, and we don't get a lot of opportunities to see her growth. So it's nice to see her have an adult conversation, and that's no tea, no shade. In that, just to give more specificity, I like I said, the way that they related and talked about that, and then even talking about their children being biracial and that experience, and wanting to see their kids celebrate their black culture as well and recognize it and prioritize it, I guess, is what Stacey was really talking about. And also being able to hear about that from Ashley was nice. I don't know that we've heard much about that from Ashley, so it's nice. Like I said, it's a humanizing moment. It's nice to get. I'm very confused on why Gizelle keeps asking Karen how she's getting places. I don't know if it's supposed to be shade and like is it getting one note, or is Karen not allowed to drive? Like I don't know, but whatever. Karen Uber. And Gizelle asked Karen if she enjoyed the Hatitude event. Karen is like, yeah, but I like that she was honest. And she's like, girl, I didn't appreciate you being shady and doing the non-alcoholic Grand Dame drink. Like, we get a girl. They can read the menu. They know they have options, girl. You don't have to do all of that. And, Gizelle claims she was not being messy. I don't, okay. I'm going to say it again because I don't want no softball season, okay? Like, we know that Gizelle needs some type of a redemption. But I will say it's giving... It feels like a genuine redemption. It don't feel like a tour of like, oh, well, let me be cool with Wendy now. Let me be cool with Karen. I say all that to say, like, it's fun to see her still film with Karen. They throw shade at each other, and now they're obviously about to have an issue, and I guess we'll see how deep this issue runs. But yeah, it's nice to see that they're just not cool for the sake of a redeeming season that they do need. And I also like that Gizelle clocked that, Jacqueline had so many questions at the event, but she didn't ask them. Because that's what we were all saying on the internet. Like, girl, you was doing all that talking, girl. And when she got there, you ain't had nothing to say. What's going on, babe? Karen's like, I'm not looking for Jacqueline right now anyway, because she said something I did not like. And I'm wondering, like, well, what did she say? Because I really was wondering, like, well, why would she be upset with Jacqueline? Because does she even know that Jacqueline told the girls that she called her drunk or sounded drunk when she called? Does she even know about that? But her thing was Jacqueline essentially saying, we got to wait for the outcome to see what happens, which is what people, it's a diplomatic thing to say about things. Like, I don't have an opinion on it until somebody, rules something in the case or whatever. I'm still confused on what outcome we're waiting for. Did you drive drunk or not? So I don't know. But she didn't like that. Jacqueline's like, well, let's just wait and see what happens, essentially, because she's like, well, I need my girls to ride for me regardless. And I'm like, well, I don't like. Where are we riding? Where are we going? And again, I already foreshadowed this. I don't think it was a mess, but she did bring up, Kiana not being invited. And Giselle was like, girl, I had already told you that I could only fit a certain amount of people. So I do think Giselle is being, I feel like I'm becoming a Giselle apologist, but I'm agreeing with her. But she was like, girl, I told you I can only fit so many people. Like, I couldn't invite her. There's no shade. I'll invite her to this next event. No shade. And it doesn't feel like shade. I wonder if there's more to it, but it didn't feel like shade. But another moment of disagreement, right? Like Giselle thinks that Karen's being messy. I also don't think that Karen is being messy, not intentionally. I think she's just literally asking. And I think she's trying to usher. She likes Kiana, they're friends. So she's trying to make sure she's included in the group. And so, I think this is a genuine question. So Karen brings up her award, and she's talking about how, it's earlier in the day. She's going to go to Gizelle's event still that she's having for GNA, but she doesn't know any details about the event, girl. I do like very quickly that they are like switching the focus of GNA. It is obviously a key that there's absolutely nothing on that website when it was supposed to be apparel, and the stuff was just not cute at all as it was. But, I can understand them switching focus. It's a new business. Maybe the apparel thing was not them, and maybe now they want to focus on, wellness and things like that. So that's cool. Switch routes. I think that's more compelling than the clothing line for sure. I don't know what attachment Ashley has to it, but if it's general wellness, which I would imagine that it is, I guess everybody has an attachment to wellness in some aspect, but obviously we know that it was kind of introduced to Giselle because of what happened with her father. I don't know where Ashley kind of fits in here. But yeah, so Karen's award thing, basically Giselle says she got an invite to this event. I guess it was just a regular event in the district. And she's like, I got invited to this a while back, but Karen's name was never on the invite until recent. So now Karen's being honored. I wonder if that's something that Karen has set up. And I hadn't thought about that, but I think that is very probable. Because it is funny to know that Karen just got this DUI, honey, and 8 or 9 citations. And they're like, but let's honor you for your work in the community. That's confusing to me as well. It was T and hilarious and a kiki and a cackle that Karen woke up at 6:30 a.m. and invited all these ladies in a group chat to her event on the very same day as Giselle's. And she's like, girl, it's fine. Come to both. We've set up a shuttle. Please, just support both girls. It's fine. And almost immediately, Giselle was like, no, girl, don't go about town, girl. Don't even come all the way around town. Just go to Karen's. And I don't like people that do stuff like that. Because obviously you're upset. I get it. She definitely has the right to be upset. But Giselle's one of those people that just jumps right on up out that window. Like, she just be like, oh, well, whatever, fine. And then kind of just like already creating a situation to be upset. Like, you didn't even really give the dolls a chance to come to your defense or even come to the damn event. Like, so I don't like that. It's very passive aggressive. Clearly in her confessional and everywhere else, she is highly upset, honey. And I do think it was funny when she's like, she's being honored for what? Running into a tree? Like, girl, huh? So we're at Giselle's event. And it was just crazy. I don't think we got this information before about her dad. Like, I don't think we knew, or I didn't know. And she's saying basically he went to the doctor, he got this CAT scan, and they found a tumor in his brain, I believe. And then 12 days later he passed, which is just terrible. And I just don't think we knew that. So it's very interesting to hear. And it's only been 10 months, so I can only imagine the type of change that will, or like effect that would have on somebody, or Giselle, period. And then you can see she's genuinely, I think you can tell when Giselle is really, really upset. She doesn't come off like happy-go-lucky, bubbly all the time, obviously, but you can tell when she's genuinely upset, and you can tell that she's very upset about the fact that Karen is having this event. And she's like, I've been nice to Karen. And I'm reading between the lines. It's like, she hasn't really been on Karen's ass about the DUI like she could. So she's like, I've been playing nice with Karen. Like, and I'm saying playing nice with the kiki because, like I said, I do think it's genuine. But she has been soft on Karen. Everybody has. Maybe not Jacqueline. So, yeah, I can understand her definitely feel, even outside of that, I understand her feeling some type of way. But again, like, give the girls an opportunity to come to the event, babe. But she is heated. And I do like being able to see Ashley like champion for Giselle and support her in this moment, right? Again, something humanizing and just seeing how upset she genuinely is and just saying like we're a team, we're in this together, I got you, blah blah, blah, and reassuring her and calming her down. I thought that was good. So I will say, so the ladies are on their way to Karen's thing. Kiana, Wendy, Jazzy, and Stacy. And I'm just like, I'm really enjoying seeing this bus full of beautiful brown skinned women on Potomac. Like, girl, what show am I watching? And then Mia comes, so yeah. I am liking seeing the involvement, and it's giving me some Real Housewives of Atlanta isms. You know, that episode where Nene had her event and the ladies showed up late. Like, it was giving me that I was feeling that nostalgia. So the ladies call from the bus. It's Jazzy pretty much leading the conversation with Ashley. And she's like, girl, just like, you know, we're coming. We're going to be on our way. Woody, woo, wah, wah, wah. And while they're having this conversation, I'm like, great, admirable. But I'm like, what's the time looking like? Because they showed us the flyer for Karen's thing, and it said it was from 6 to 9. And so they started talking about getting to Ashley's thing around 8:30. And so I'm like, well, y'all definitely could have, and they're still going to do both. But I'm like, y'all definitely could have done both if y'all went to Karen's event on time. Because if it started at 6, y'all should have been there at 6. Especially if it's an award ceremony. It's not something where you just coming in and kikiing and parlaying at the bar. It's like an award thing. So I probably would have been there at 6, knocked that out, and then still been able to go to Gizelle's thing with no issue. So for whatever reason that didn't happen though, because they got to Karen's after 7, and Wendy was saying basically, you know, when they got there, Karen hadn't gotten her award yet, so she wasn't leaving. And so I'm like, well, if this started at, I guess if it's from 6 to 9, it makes sense that Karen still hasn't gotten her award. But what have y'all been doing for the last hour? But anywho, I got really ahead of myself. But that was distracting me. But yeah, so they're talking to Ashley on the bus, and Ashley's like, look, 8:30 not gonna cut it, baby. The event's over at 9. So if y'all don't get here by 8, it's not looking good. So they agree. They're like, girl, we can get there by 8. Boom. And I will say, I can't even remember the driver's name, even though they said it 455 times. But every time they said that man's name, I tensed up. Like, you know, when you at work and they make you actually do your job and you just get irritated. Like, they were constantly asking this man questions about the ETA. I just would have been like, so to get to the event, like I said, a little bit after 7, we're gonna be here for about 30 minutes, and we gotta leave out. It's a 24-minute drive to the GNA event. So they get in there, they're talking to Karen. Karen's right, like, oh, thank you guys so much for coming, blah blah blah. Still ain't got her awards. I don't know what the hell they in there doing. And she's like, okay, so what's going on? Anything I should know? Has Gizelle said anything? Being a mess, trying to see if Gizelle's spiraling, and the answer is yes, she is. And she says, oh. So they're like, yeah, girl, came to check in. Gotta leave, gotta go, gotta run. And she's like, okay, well, go do what you gotta do. And Wendy and Kiana are like, yeah, go do that, because we're not going. We'll be right here. Thank you guys so much. And to me, that was real. I appreciated it. Kiana, obviously friends with Karen. I don't assume that she lives for Gizelle, but who knows. And then Wendy, you know, she just getting back in there with Gizelle. So cool, appreciate it. We go back to the GNA event. Ashley's letting Gizelle know, hey girl, I just talked to the dolls. They said they were going to be here by 8:30. Gizelle's head starts spinning. Ashley stops it and she says, but I told them be here by 8. Gizelle's head starts spinning again counterclockwise. And she's like, absolutely not. Like at that point, they cannot come. Like, it's rude. I'm over it. They don't need to be here, girl. They might as well not come, girl. And I'm like, I get it, right? I don't know. Like, I think I would be, obviously she's upset with Karen, but I think I would be more so just upset with Karen. I don't know that I'm going to be upset with the ladies. I don't feel like they've done anything. Granted, okay, yes, you'll be looking for an opportunity for them to show up for you, right? That's all it is. She's hurt because she feels like the ladies are not showing up for her. But she did not give them that opportunity. She told them immediately, just go to Karen's. And they're still going out of their way. Well, I don't know if it's out of their way. They got a shuttle, but it's raining outside. But yeah, they're trying to come, girl. Like, they're doing the best they can. So I don't know that I will be upset with them, because what do I want them to do after I've already shut them down? Again, it's this passive aggressive thing. You're already setting them up to lose. But again, Ashley is still, you know, keeping things positive, and I appreciate that. I'm liking this position, and it does seem like it's calming Gizelle down. Like, But ain't nothing calm about her when we when we get to it. But she, in the moment, she seemed like she's doing good. Karen, honey, typical Karen fashion. I'm living for it. She's like, girl, look, the people obviously like me more than they like Giselle at this moment, honey, and they made their choice. They're here. I don't know why. Just because Giselle's having an event, I can't have an event, girl. I put it out there. The ladies make their own decision, and they made their choice. They're here with the doll. So I mean, it is what it is. But Jacqueline and the lady Viv are at the GNA event because I guess they RSVP'd to that first. Well, the Viv lady, I guess we're saying she RSVP'd to that first. She didn't say that. Giselle said this. She cool with Karen, but she RSVP'd to that first, so she showed up to that. And then Jacqueline's there because she wasn't on the group chat, honey, because Karen did not invite her. So they're having a conversation about that. And essentially, Jacqueline is standing on it, and I wanted to give her that point. Like, okay, she's standing on business. Like, well, it is true. We are going to wait for the outcome, but it's like, I don't know if I want to give you that point because you was doing all that yapping, and then when Karen got around, you didn't really have much to say. So if that's going to be a trend for you, I don't know about the point system for you. And then obviously, so the ladies break off. Who ends up going? So it's Mia, Jazzy, and Stacy. Cool. Great. Not really a big crowd, and they do kind of say it when they get off the bus. Like, I'm sad that it's only three of us deep. Like, this is probably gonna look crazy. And they're like, what should we say? And they're like, let's not say. Let's just fall in. Mia's like, let's just fall in. Fine, boom. And it is 8:02. Now I'm thinking, baby, 8 was a compromise. So y'all need to be there at 8. It's 8:02, and y'all parlaying in the car and get inside, baby. As soon as they stepped through that door, Giselle was taking that photo. She said, "Oh no, 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 no." She said, "I will be right back." No, 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 no. They calling security. No, ladies, please wrap it up. Let's go. Boom, ga 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 ga. And you could see Stacy's face. Stacy is like, she ready to get into it. She like, girl, we came to support you. Like, no, ma'am, I can tell that Stacy gonna have something to say. So I'm very interested to see it. I would love to see a back and forth between her and Giselle. I can see it now. I feel the energy. And it was actually running over, honey, as it is occurring. Like, that was cracking me up. She like, ooh, girl, because I'm sure Ashley would have been like, okay. She wasn't quick enough though. I think she could have calmed this one down. She would have been 3 for 3 because she had calmed Giselle down 2 times earlier. But I don't know. I think this Giselle and the way she sped across that room is just, it's like she was picking up steam, honey. By the time she got to them, she was calling security. Like I said, if you calling security, girl, you're upset. She was upset. But I feel her. Like I said, I mean, I don't feel the aggression against the ladies necessarily, but she's hurt. So she's acting this way and she's emotional, right? So I thought this was a good episode. This was good. Not that the premiere was bad, it just was not interesting. And even on this first watch, again, I wasn't giving it a chance because I wasn't excited from last week. But once I watched it again, I'm like, okay, yes, dynamics, entertainment. Okay, I'll take it. Cool. With that, I will see y'all in the next one.